Hello and welcome to Computology Academy. So as we know, Russia has already attacked Ukraine in the early morning of 23rd of February 2022. And why they have done this, the preparatory stage was being made there beforehand since long time ago. Since 2014, when the elections were held in Russia, so the new president who came to power was not pro-Russia, and since then Russia was fearful of drifting of Ukraine towards the Western allies and towards joining the NATO. And since then Russia was trying to create the hegemony over Ukraine, but it was unable, and now Russia has violated various international laws by attacking Ukraine. So we will discuss in detail what are the international norms, what are the international laws which Russia has already violated, and what could be the repercussions, what could be the various methods to instill the peace and tranquility again in the region. So let us start here. So first of all, Russia attacked Ukraine, and all-out attack was made on Ukraine. Here they attacked Ukraine through land, sea and airspace all. And they attacked Ukraine from three directions, which we will see in the next slide in the map. And this is the biggest warlike situation, biggest unrest or biggest conflict between two countries in Europe since Second World War. Since the Second World War, there was no such type of huge armed conflict between two nations in the European region. And this attack was made from three sides, which we will see here in the next slide. So as you can see here in the map, Russia has already attacked from the Russian side itself. Thereafter they entered Ukraine from the side of Belarus as well as from the side of Crimea. They also attacked through sea to the Odessa city, Odessa port city, and Mariupol port city. So these are the regions which has been already attacked, and they also fired various missile batteries on various cities, and these are the cities on which the missiles have been fired. So these cities are the region or the cities on which the missile batteries have been fired, and this is the region which has been already declared independent nation by Russia. And Russia is of the view that these are the people who are willing to join the USSR or the Russian Federation, whatever you say. Basically this is the pet project of the Russian President Vladimir Putin to again create USSR. And that is why he is time and again doing such kind of thing. He annexed Crimea in 2014, and thereafter they are supporting the separatists in these regions, Donetsk and Luhansk region, and next target is that they will create an hegemony on Ukraine. And this will be a very devastating situation worldwide, because after the attack that was done by Russia on Ukraine, the international community is in a shock situation. They have got shocked that this can be done by Russia. They were not expecting this. However, United States was already of the view that by the end of February, Russia will attack Ukraine, and their view came true. They are of the view that they will not be in position to curtail any sudden attack on Ukraine, and that was quite right. That prediction was quite right. That was done by Russia already. So here if we say that why Russia is trying to create a hegemony on Ukraine. So if we will see the map, then here in the map you can see here, this is the Black Sea region and this is Ukraine, and this is the only small outlet or the coast which is of Russia, that is the opening of Russia in Black Sea. And earlier Russia was having the armed forces base as well as naval base in this Crimea region, which they annexed later on, and now they are looking for a better opening, better access to the Black Sea, because this is the only access through which they will be in position to get to the maritime trade. And that is why they are doing these things, because the rest of the Russia is not having the access to the coast through which they can do the trade throughout the year, and they are trying to enhance their accessibility to the maritime trade, because the rest of the Russia is having the opening towards the Arctic region, where they face the ice sheet for more than half a year, and the rest of the Russia, those are having the access to the coast is in the eastern region, that is this Vladivostok and the Kamchatka region, from where it is very difficult to reach out to Moscow. Now, what are the international laws which have been violated by Russia? UN Charter. So if we talk about the UN Charter, then first is the principle of non-intervention, that is, none of the country is allowed to intervene in the internal matters of the another nation, another sovereign nation. Their territorial integrity should not be violated, right? And as Russia has already attacked Ukraine, so it amounts to aggression under the international laws, under the UN Charter. It is amounting to aggression, and the principle of non-intervention in the domestic affairs, because whatever is going on in the Russian dominated population, that is Donetsk, etc., that is not the matter related to Russia, but the matter is related to Ukraine, and in which Russia has no right to intervene, because politically that is the territory of Ukraine, and that is why Russia should not have intervened in it. And this is the fundamental principle. Non-intervention is the fundamental principle on which the international order is based. Otherwise, any nation can attack any another nation, saying that there is the violation of the rights of the people and other things. Right? Why didn't any nation attack China in case of Hong Kong? They were only condemning the actions of China. They were saying that the human rights are getting violated, the people are being curtailed from movement, they are not having the freedom of speech. All those things were going on, but none of the nation was in a position to attack China, because that is not allowed under the UN Charter, as Hong Kong is a part of China. Hong Kong is a territory of China, right? And it has been already enshrined in Article 2, subpart 4 of the UN Charter, that the sovereignty, territorial integrity and independence of any nation cannot be damaged, cannot be jeopardized by any another nation through intervention. None of the nation is allowed to intervene in such kind of matters of the another nation. And it also prohibits the trespassing, forcible trespassing or use of force. So basically the Russian forces have already entered Ukraine, and this amounts to forcible trespassing of the territory of Ukraine. They have entered the territory of Ukraine. This violates their territorial integrity, and that is why it has become a matter of concern, because the world order is getting disturbed, and this may lead to chaos. Like, as Ukraine has been invaded by Russia, so now Taiwan has become fearful that this could be done with it by China. So this may create domino effect, and that is what which is matter of concern. Next is principle of non-aggression, and here it had been enshrined in the UN Charter through the resolution, United Nations General Assembly resolution. That resolution was resolution number 3314, that was passed in 1974. And why it was passed, anybody can recognize it. If you are in position to recognize it, then comment in the comment box below, and later on at the end of the video I will say you why this resolution was passed, right? So it defines that aggression as the use of armed force in the internal matters of or violating the territorial integrity or interfering in the internal political affairs of any other nation, right? And that is what it has been said in the UNGA resolution, and it has also been enshrined that if any nation allows any other nation to use its territory to invade or to interfere or to attack any third nation state, then it will also amount to the act of aggression. So here again comes in picture, that is Belarus. Because Belarus had allowed the Russian armed forces to invade Ukraine from its territory. They were stationed there and they entered Ukraine from the Belarusian border itself. That will again amount to an act of aggression by Belarus, not by Russia. But again now Belarus will be also a culprit. Next is aggression is considered as an international crime according to the Rome Statute, right? The interference in the internal matter of any nation and armed attack or jeopardizing the territorial integrity of any nation will be amounting to international crime, and that could be adjudicated into international criminal court, and that is what it has been mentioned in this resolution. So again it will be a very devastating thing for Russia if all the nations come together to establish the accountability on Russia. Next is principle of political independence. So any sovereign state have the right, have the political independence to make their own decision, to decide which organization they want to join, in which direction they want to go. No nation can dictate on them. If they don't want to take the suggestions could be provided, but they cannot forcibly say that you have to do this only. And this started with the NATO issue, because Ukraine wanted to join the NATO, and even after fall of USSR in 1991, 18 nations who were already always part of USSR, after the disintegration of USSR, they joined NATO. And here again Russia was of the view that if Ukraine will join NATO, then the NATO forces will come to the doors of Russia, because Russia and Ukraine share the border with each other, and that was a matter of concern for the Russian government, Vladimir Putin, and that is why one of this was a reason because of which Russia invaded Ukraine. But it was not the matter in which Russia have the right to intervene, because Ukraine is a sovereign nation and Ukraine have all the right to join any organization. So it was violated. Next is violation of political independence of Ukraine under Article 2 of 4. And here Russia is saying that according to the Minsk agreement that was signed between Russia and Ukraine few years earlier, it was said that Ukraine will never join the NATO, and this agreement has been violated. But that agreement itself was against the UN Charter. It was against the principle of political independence of any sovereign nation. So here it is violation, because Russia had attacked Ukraine on the pretext of the joining of NATO by Ukraine. So it was not the case. right? Next is resorting to the use of force and jeopardizing the international peace and security. And this is a matter of concern for the international community, because Ukraine will now ask for help to different nations, European nations, Western allies and all those nations. And in that case, if some of the nation come forward to help Ukraine with weapon or with armed forces, whatever it is, then this will create a domino effect, and this may lead to a third world war, right? And this is a matter of concern. Next is principle of self-defense. So this has also been violated, because time and again Russia is saying that don't take the help from the Western allies and all those things, but Ukraine have all the right to defend itself. Self-defense is basic human right as well as the right of the nations also, right? And here Article 51 authorizes a state to resort to individual or collective self-defense. That means that if Ukraine is in position to defend itself by its own, then it can do it by their own. Or if Ukraine is not in position to defend itself from Russian invasion individually, then Ukraine have all the right to ask for help from other nations, and they may be Western allies or any other nation who is in position to help out Ukraine before UNSC intervenes. So here UNSC will be in position to intervene later on. But if we say that Russia is already having the veto power, Russia is the permanent member of UNSC. So definitely if Ukraine even go to the UNSC, then it is very least chance that Ukraine may get any help from UNSC because of the veto power that lies with Russia, right? Now come to the Russian argument. Russia is arguing that Russia has invaded Ukraine because of the nuclear escalation, nuclear threat that is posed by Ukraine. Russia says that Ukraine is trying to get the nuclear weapon from the Western nations. However, it is a hollow claim, because posing the nuclear weapon does not mean that they will be attacked. They will be used to attack Russia, right? And that is the reason why it is a hollow argument. Next is aggression against Russia. So Russia is saying that Ukraine is trying to join NATO. That is an act of aggression. So how could joining any organization could be a act of aggression? India is a part of Quad. They are saying that now defense ties will also be established. And if China says that India is showing an act of aggression towards China, then what kind of claim is that? So that is again a hollow claim. Next is act of self-defense. And this act of self-defense, they are saying that they are defending themselves from the Western allies, because if Ukraine will join NATO, then the forces of the Western allies will come to their door and they will pose a security threat and the territorial integrity threat to Russia, which is again a hollow claim. Now come to the options with Ukraine. So what are the options with Ukraine? What kind of options can be used? So first is requesting the assistance from the other countries, basically the Western allies, and time and again Ukraine is pleading to the Western allies to intervene, but they are refraining themselves from doing so because they are of the view that the matter may get escalated. That may lead to a wider level war, a large war that may get down to the world war. Next is UNSC. However, right now the immediate relief is not going to come from UNSC, as well as Russia is wielding the veto power. So again, it will be very difficult for Ukraine to get any relief from UNSC. Next is UN General Assembly. So some kind of resolution may be passed by the UN General Assembly that may be vetoed by Russia. However, that can be overturned with 2/3 majority by the UNGA, right? But it will again take time. Till then, whatever would be left in Ukraine, that is a matter of concern. Next is what could be done here. So basically dialogue is the only possible way out, diplomatic channels, dialogue, and the Russian government and the Ukraine government, both of them can negotiate the possible way out and to establish the peace and tranquility again in the region. Next is war will lead to the devastation if they will go on to the full-fledged war. If Ukraine pleads to different nations to help him out and Ukraine gets the help from different nations, then a full-fledged wider scale war may ensue, which will be devastating for the region as well as both the nations also. So it is a very difficult situation. Now come to our course. So this UPSC General Studies Foundation course for UPSC Civil Services 2023 has been launched already. The classes are going to start from 28th of March. This will be a prelims comes mains batch, offline batch, where the personal mentoring will be guided till the final selection. So for further details, you may get in touch with us on these contact numbers, and you may also mail us. The mail ID is given in the description below, and you can also follow us on our social media handles. This is our Facebook and Instagram handle. This is our Telegram channel, and for further details and detailed syllabus and other things, you can also visit our website and do subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new videos. Thank you very much and have a nice day.